Just kidding. What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Team Chat Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Jerrett Wilson, and here's your second host, Rachel Mogan.
What's up? We can totally use this.
We're just going to go. You want to roll with it? All right. Well, here with Team Chat Podcast, we get fresh coffee before we record or as we're recording, and we also talk about games, the ones we love, the ones we hate, and everything in between. New episodes come out Tuesdays, 9 a.m. Central Time, and you can get those on podcast services around the World Wide Web. I really love this. This is fun. I like this. It's like a little behind the scenes to pre-recording. It's a lot of fun. I like this. You can listen to those on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all the different places. You can go to teamchat.com/where to listen to see the full list of all the places we are. You can also watch a video version on YouTube. If you want, you can find us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We have a Discord server that you can join because it's a whole lot of fun. And then also, we're a completely listener-supported show. So if you wanted to, because you really love what we're creating, you like these little fun things that we do to spice up the life of every episode.
Is this spicing it up?
This is spicing it up. Change is the spice of life, as they say. And so, if you want to contribute and help make the show bigger and better, you can do that by going to patreon.com/teamchatpodcast, where for as little as $1 a month, you can support the show. And in return, we'll give you cool perks, like getting the episodes early before the general Tuesday release in both the audio and video formats. And regardless of tier, all patrons get access to a private Discord channel on our server, the Rogues Gallery. It's a lot of fun. I like it.
It's where we put all of the hot gossip about all the other patrons that aren't paid. We really talk a lot of smack on them.
That's true. But actually, a lot of it is just some fun behind-the-scenes stuff, extra special conversations. Like, we'll usually put out some special fun little things there that we just want, little fun side gifts and things like that for the patrons.
Indeed.
Smack talk might be included. Who knows? But for the most
it's
most of the
mostly
time,
smack talk.
It's fun stuff. Oh, we have very different opinions on what the
I don't know what
is.
Discord you're on, but
Oh man, I thought I was on a good one, but
and apparently not. It's
not.
a toxic cesspool.
Being
It's
real
like
toxic this
8chan.
morning. Oh man. So, before we get into the topic of today, we do have a little bit of a moment with Mogan. So let's get a little bit of that news.
Stall for me while I pull it up because
Stalling.
I forgot.
Still stalling.
Keep stalling. I was pulling up something else for the episode and forgot about my other.
Gotta pull up those notes.
All right, so in case you missed it, I just want to go back and briefly touch on some of the games that came out just about a week before this one. Chocobo's Mystery Dungeon. Everybody, and it's spelled Buddy. Isn't that adorable? Chocobo's Mystery Dungeon. Everybody comes out for PS4 and Switch on March 20th. Peasant Night.
And so, question. I'm assuming that's because it's Chocobos. It's Final Fantasy related.
Yes, Chocobos are a Final Fantasy creature. We could absolutely talk about Chocobos on this episode,
That's true, we
but
could.
I didn't think to do that before, so my bad. Peasant Night, which I assume is the poor person's version of Shovel Knight, is coming to Switch on March 22nd. Came out on March 22nd. Another one that we kind of missed, which I'm really bummed about. Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice came out for PS4, Xbox One, and PC on March 22. Unravel 2 also made it to the Switch on March 22nd as well. And out now, as of this episode's release date on March 26th, we have Atelier Lulua, or Atelier Lulua. I have no idea how you pronounce this. These JRPGs are killing me. Anyways, Atelier Lulua, the Scion of Arland, comes out for PS4 and Switch on March 26th. Oh god, okay. Danganronpa Trilogy comes out for PS4 on March 26th as well. Dragon, Marked for Death, that's a nice easy one. March 26th for the Switch. Final Fantasy VII, the original, non-remastered one. Yes, is coming
Well,
to...
I guess technically it's a remake, not a remake.
I mean, it's a remake.
Because they're totally changing how it's going to look.
They will, but this isn't that version.
This is
that. Just Final Fantasy. It's not even a remake. It's just Final
a port,
Fantasy
basically.
VII. Yeah, it's a port. But that's actually coming to Xbox One.
Oh, interesting.
And Switch.
Okay.
Right? Because
There
I
we
think
go.
you could already get it on PS. I think you could already get it through the PlayStation Store.
Yeah, I think you could.
But yeah, so it's making its way to Xbox One and Switch March 26th as well. A lot is coming out this day. Good God. Generation Zero for PS4, Xbox One, and PC, also March 26th. MLB The Show 19.
Oh, I'm so excited for that one.
For PS4.
I love playing those sports ball games.
March 26th. Nelke and the legendary alchemists, Ateliers of the New World.
Man, a lot to do with Ateliers.
I hate these games. Comes out for PS4 and Switch on March 26th. We also have The Princess Guide for PS4 and Switch, and The Walking Dead, the final season, episode 4 for PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. And then finally, coming soon, we have Yoshi's Crafted World, which I am actually really excited about. Yoshi's Crafted World comes out for Switch March 29th, followed by Tropico 6. I assume the tropical...
Man, they are making a lot of those games.
I assume that is the tropical version of Yoshi's Crafted World, which, very exciting. That's for PS4, Xbox One, and PC March 29th as well. And then we also have Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered / Liberation Remastered for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. And then finally, to close out the month, we have American Ninja Warrior. For PS4, Xbox One, and Switch on March 31st.
A video game version you would thought never would happen. I guess it kind of makes sense. That is interesting. I'm going to have to look at gameplay of that.
Is it like a quick time obstacle course?
It has to be, right?
What could this game be?
I'm so curious now.
It's obviously not because it's not in the parentheses, but wouldn't that make a fun VR game?
Yeah.
Missed opportunity.
You'd get really fit.
You'd get really
fit.
Or you would just kill yourself trying to do moves you shouldn't be
Trip
able
over your coffee table,
exactly.
Bust open your shins, and then who wants to play after that?
As people from a show related to offices might say, hardcore parkour.
Hardcore parkour.
But anyways, that is the gauntlet of games.
That was a lot. I think that is the most we've ever had.
I think that might be the most.
In a single moment with Mogan.
Not only was it a crap ton of long names, it was also just a ton of games.
Yeah, a lot of stuff coming out.
March is freaking packed. Anyways, so that's what's coming out and came out and coming soon.
Boom. I gotta say, I haven't had a chance to play it yet at the time of this recording. But I am excited about Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. And I know I said in the last episode, or our last non-replay episode, that I was wanting to probably not skip on Division 2 and play Sekiro. But now I'm just seeing that hype about the Division. But I'm going to hold off. I'm holding off. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm holding off.
Are you still going to get the Division 2?
No, not right now.
Thank God. Okay.
No. I want to do Sekiro. Okay, I've got Anthem. I still have so much Anthem.
Yeah, I was about to say you already have Division 2 in the form of Anthem.
Exactly. And Division 2 won't let me be a javelin that flies around and blows stuff up.
True. Can you fly in the Division?
No.
Oh, wait, I'm thinking of Destiny.
Oh,
right.
yeah,
the Division is the one that's in a city and you're a normal person. Yes. Even worse.
This time it's in DC.
Definitely don't do that.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it.
Good.
I'm going to stick with Anthem for my loot shooter game, loot shooter fix. And then I'm going to, like I said, I want to try Sekiro. But I'm also very excited, even though I know it's not one of the more loved of the series, very excited for the Assassin's Creed 3 remaster.
Oh.
I loved the setting of that one. The story had its weaknesses, but the setting was great.
3 is pretty well liked, isn't it? I thought that 2 and 3.
No, 2.
Oh, is it just 2?
2 and its spinoffs, Brotherhood and Revelations, are I would say probably some of the more loved of the series, of the earlier entries in the series. 3 kind of fell pretty flat for people. It had some different choices and mechanics in the story. Like, for instance, you play as not the main character for a couple hours.
I was about to say,
before.
Are you still Ezio?
No, you're not. This is the one that takes place during the American Revolution.
Gross. Never mind. I can see why it's much hated.
It's fun. I liked the setting a lot because all we had before was either Middle Eastern or Italy.
Yeah, both better than the American Revolution.
True, but for a change of pace in the Assassin's Creed series, it was great.
Change of pace is for punks.
Liberation actually takes place in colonial New Orleans and allows you to be the first female assassin in the series, Evangeline.
See, I would like that more if it also happened to overlap.
Oh, God, I forgot her name.
Yeah, well, whatever. If it also happened to overlap with the events of Interview with a Vampire, where you get to colonial New Orleans and you're the female assassin, right? And your job is, we've heard about these gay bro vampires out there killing everybody, and they adopted what's her name? Kirsten Dunst?
Kirsten Dunst, yeah.
Can you do something about that? And I'd be like, yes, I can.
That
sounds amazing.
And then it just rolls on
it just keeps
into
going.
True Blood.
Into
HBO's
yes,
True Blood. And you just
exactly.
Move to Bon Temps.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
So
I have ideas for Assassin's Creed. Call up Ubisoft.
All right. I'm writing it down. We'll get to these after the episode. So the main topic, though, that we want to talk about today is, like I said earlier, it is about characters. But what about characters? Specifically, we wanted to talk about character design.
Character design.
Basically, it could be main characters, it could be side characters, it could be anything. But examples that stood out to us in games of like either that was really impressive, or even we're going to take it another way and go with some that might not be our favorite too, like some odd choices and everything. But I kind of figured maybe we'd not necessarily look at this one as lists, because this is one that as we were getting it, I was like, man, we're going to start talking and we're just going to snowball.
It's more like so basically in terms of character design, we don't just mean the look of the characters. Character is so much more than just physical appearance. So that's definitely part of it.
That's where my mind went to first.
Yeah, but other facets of a character are also, of course, what soundtrack goes along with them.
Yes.
What is their environment like in the context of the broader game? Because sometimes, especially in video games, I feel like character and environment are frequently really difficult to extract from each other because they're so heavily dependent on one another. Most video games aren't super open world in that everything is the same. In most games, every area has its own differences and unique aspects to it. And assuming that you find different characters in these different portions of the game, it can really impact how you view them.
Oh, absolutely.
So some of the things that I've got like cooking around in my head are kind of themed on that. But so it's not just what do they look like, it's also what do they make us feel like.
The look, though, is important because it's usually your first impression of this character. Of course,
indeed. Much like our own visages, which we look pretty terrible today.
It's an early Sunday morning. We've had some weeks.
It's Saturday.
Is it Saturday?
It is.
My week is off.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
Okay, but that gives you an idea of how it's going.
Of how we are, but we're still here.
We're still here.
We're bringing you that sweet gaming goodness. But so let's go. Let's jump into this. So let's start then with ones that appealed to you by look.
Okay, so by look, and this is kind of like a bit of a story, so strap in.
All right.
And this has to do with one of my kind of favorite games, but also kind of not. We talked about it a lot previously, Breath of the Wild.
Yes. I wondered if you were going to bring up any iterations of Link.
I thought really hard about how I wanted to discuss The Legend of Zelda because there were a ton of things all across the entire series of Legend of Zelda that I wanted to talk about. I was like, I could talk about all the different designs of the great fairies throughout all the different games. I could talk about all of Link's redesigns throughout the years. Did you know that he used to have pink hair?
No.
Oh my God, did you really not know that?
I did not know that.
His earliest designs, I think it was partially just because of the shading and the pixeling, he has pink hair. Actually, the Link to the Past Link, he has pink hair.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think it maybe goes hand in hand with one of his later outfits. Like eventually you get a red tunic that's like the Goron tunic, maybe? I don't know, mountain lava tunic, I forget the details. But yeah, his hair is pink.
You're not sure of his details?
Of course not. There's so much to comprehend. So I actually chose to go with one of the newer games because it kind of ties into the old ones, but in terms of character design, I know, right?
Gets a little warm, and all of a sudden, gnats. Where'd it go?
Kill him! I think you got him.
I got him.
Good job.
Sorry, bug lovers.
It's those video game reflexes.
I know.
Sorry, bug lovers. I don't think anybody's loving on gnats. So from Breath of the Wild, I want you to guess what you think I'm going to talk about. I will give you a hint. The character or characters in question do not speak. At least I think they don't. Good God. What if Oh, God, am I wrong about that? Okay, ignore it.
Let my silence let her stew in it for a bit more.
Yeah, I might be wrong about that.
I'm going to go with the different appearances of Ganon.
Oh, that was really close. You're on the right track, but no. So
because there's the water blight Ganon, there's all these like different as the game progresses. Man,
that would have been a really good thing to talk about.
Right? Okay.
Whoops. Damn it. Okay, that's not what I was going to talk about. But that was an excellent guess. Actually, Ganon in the context of Breath of the Wild, I think is like chump change.
Okay.
But that's neither here nor there. The characters that I want to talk about have to do with one of my first encounters with it/them, in that it really was a moment that gave me a much better idea of the scope of Breath of the Wild. So, assuming that you follow kind of the recommended path of Breath of the Wild, you leave the Great Plateau, spoilers Ed, you leave the Great Plateau, you jump off into what is really Hyrule, and presumably, if you're doing what the game kind of tells you to do, you hook a hard right and head east. Well, initially, if you go east, sure, you can keep going down the path and you can kind of wind through some valleys and ravines, and eventually you get to Kakariko Village.
Right.
But along the way, there are those two really tall peaks that kind of form the head over the path that you're going through. And they're called the Twin Peaks, I think. And you can climb either of them. And if you climb one of them and get all the way to the top, I think there's a temple up there. So I did that, of course, because I was like, I know I can climb shit in this game. I'm definitely going up there. So presuming that you actually get to the top of this temple, and at the time I had no health, no stamina. I was just a scrub. I had twigs for weapons still. It was not
Using
good
tree
times.
branches?
Yeah, using tree branches. If you stand on top of the mountain and look out to the south, not continuing east or north or west, if you look down to the south, you see this really green jungle looking area. And I was like, oh man, I really want to know what's down there. And I was like, well, I have freedom, don't I? And I have this glidey thingy. I can go wherever I want.
Absolutely.
So I went off path. I was a loose cannon Link on the edge of a mountain, literally, and then I jumped off of it. So I jump off into this jungle kind of looking area. It's got palm trees. It's very lush and green. And I'm just walking around, kind of doing my own thing. And way off in the distance, I see this arc that's kind of moving, but I couldn't quite tell at first. And I was like, what in the shit is that? And I realized when the arc eventually ended that it was the moving image of a dragon. And I didn't see the head of it. All I saw was the arc move and eventually go down, and I saw the tail come up and disappear onto the horizon as well. And I was like, if I'm all the way over here and that thing is that big on the map all the way over there, that's got to be a really big thing. And I was so excited about it. I was like, oh my God, okay. I definitely am going over there right now. So I struggle bust my way through the jungle, through the undergrowth, all the way to the section of the game that I can't remember the name of, so don't worry about it. It's got waterfalls. Don't worry.
Is it where you go on the way to the Varuda divine beast? I'm blanking on what they're called.
No,
the species,
actually, no,
with
the Gerudo.
No, with Prince, what's his name? Sidon?
No, it's not Prince Sidon.
Sidon.
And it's also not the Zora domain.
Okay, Zora, that's what I was thinking of.
It's there's nothing really down there except for, temples and stuff and fun side things. And of course, a giant lightning dragon.
Oh.
Hey, that's what it is. Did you encounter any?
I haven't got to lightning dragon
That's
yet.
okay, so spoilers ahead.
That's fine. This game,
So,
I'm okay hearing spoilers on
I
Breath
got
of the Wild.
all the way to this area of just waterfalls on waterfalls, and I was like, okay, I know I saw him right about here, but nothing happened. And I was like, okay, cool. I guess I'll come back later. So I went off and did a bunch of other crap throughout the game, and I never did go back at that time to try and find the lightning dragon again, even though a few times, if I looked in any direction, I would see the outline of him way off in the distance. Or if I looked all the way up, I might see a little red squiggle flying around through the air, and I was like, well, someday I'm gonna get you. And then finally you get to actually Sidon's domain, Zora's domain, and if you head east of Zora's domain into this, I think it's called the Highlands or something like that, the Eastern Highlands, and there's a gate. Don't worry about it. You probably didn't get that far.
I probably haven't yet.
Anyways, if you go through the gate and all the way to the east, you run into a mountain range, and it's the snow level, basically. And if you get all the way to the top of the mountain on the snow level, what do you encounter but a blighted, so like infected with Ganon's, I don't know, evilness, a blighted version of the Lanayru dragon.
I have seen this.
Which is the
I have seen
blue
this.
one.
I have seen this.
Yeah.
Okay, I did do this.
And you have to basically fight it, per se, and you have to get the blight off of it to free the dragon. And so, obviously, all of this leading to what I wanted to talk about is the character design of the dragons of Breath of the Wild. Because have you seen all of them?
Not all of them. I've just seen the blue one.
You should just look up some pictures. Just type in, like, Breath of the Wild dragons. So they are the Elden Dragon. I actually can't remember if this is what the game calls them, but this is how I know them. They're the Lanayru dragon, the Elden Dragon, and I think they maybe don't call it the Furore dragon. But that's what I call it, because in ancient times, in previous Zelda games,
Ancient Hyrule.
the three golden goddesses are Lanayru, Din, and Furore? Yeah, I think that's right. And they are red, blue, and green, and they are everywhere throughout the game all the time.
These are really cool looking.
Yeah, and this is kind of how the golden goddesses are reflected in Breath of the Wild. Even though they're not technically there and the game never really talks about them, this is a really cool shout out to basically the lore of The Legend of Zelda. And its design in these dragons that are larger than life and have...
Yeah, they're massive.
They're massive for starters. Second of all, in order to fight, and that's a big air quotes there, in order to fight them, you have to like launch yourself into the air or jump off of a mountain high enough that you can catch their tailwind. So because they are so far off the ground in most cases, you can't really injure them. Like pretty much the only way you can hurt them is with arrows. And even then, you have to still get close enough for your arrows to even make contact. So you often have to either launch off of the ground using your wind for Rivali's Gale, or you have to jump off of something high enough that you can kind of pew 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 at them. And if you do, like actually manage to do them a little bit of damage, like a scale or a horn, or, you know, a tiny little claw might fall off, and those are really valuable materials. But the dragons are like, fuck off, man, get out of here. Yeah, oh God, a gnat, bam! That's exactly what the dragons do. So not just in terms of their physical design, which is awesome. They follow that very long serpentine dragon-like design. They have like their little tiny dragon claws and their little arms, and they have these big flowing manes, and most of them have horns. And wherever they go, their element goes with them. So in the case of Lanayru, it's ice. In the case of Furore, it's lightning. And with Eldin, it's fire. And what that means is that when you're flying around them, trying to kind of pew-pew at them with your arrows, they've just kind of got these balls of fire, lightning, or ice floating around in the air around them that can just smack into you at any time.
So you're trying to fight this dragon or attack this dragon.
Yeah, you're trying to attack it.
It's
you're
not
laying
really doing anything.
siege.
It doesn't care.
It is not worried about you at all.
And so you're doing that all while trying to dodge these clouds of their element.
Correct. So most of the way that you can kind of defray that damage is through your armor by getting like lightning resistant armor or whatever so that it doesn't insta-kill you in the early game. But what's most fascinating and what I love the most about the dragons is that there will be times in the game where you don't even know a dragon is coming because you're not facing the right direction. You're going somewhere else or you're up on a mountain. And then all of a sudden, and I love this, the wind picks up really strong in the game and you're like, what's going on here? And then like the tail end of their song will start because they have their own soundtrack in the game.
That's cool.
And it's this really kind of, again, it has that ancient Chinese music influence to it. It's got the, I don't think it's a shamisen, but it's kind of got that like keening string tone, and it's just fan-freaking-tastic that like the wind picks up and then you hear the song, and the closer they get, the louder it gets, and then when they fly away again, they take the wind and the music with them. And I just love that entire experience every single time.
That's awesome.
Even if I'm going one direction and I just happen to catch a dragon out of the corner of my eye, I'll be like, quick detour, everybody, we're going this way real quick.
Dragon hunting.
Just to go be like, hi, and just to hear the music and watch them pass and maybe like plink off one little scale and then go back on my way because I love them so much.
So is it possible to fully defeat one of these dragons?
No, you can't.
You just go for them to like farm a couple materials.
Correct.
And then you're
so
and then
actually
you go
what
on.
they give you...
Except for the one where you, on top of the ice mountain, that you have to free from the blight.
Yes, so you can kill the blight on Lanayru, but you can't kill
you don't
Lanayru.
actually kill
Correct.
Lanayru.
Once you basically free her, she's just like, cool, thanks. And that's the part that I can't remember if she talks to you. She might.
I haven't freed her
Yeah.
yet. I got to her and was way under equipped for it.
It's actually not a hard fight. The difficulty is navigating her tailwind so that you stay in the air when you're trying to like shoot the eyeballs of the blight that's on her while you're in the air.
Well, the biggest thing for me was at that point too, I didn't have a lot of great cold weather armor and stuff. So I'm fighting. Well, because I thought I had to go there for something else. Again, this is part of my issue that I've had with really being able to dig into Breath of the Wild is just not understanding where I'm supposed to go and what I'm supposed to be doing.
You and me, bro. We're going to sit down one day and I'm going to help you.
That should be a stream that we do at some point. And because like that's the thing. Like I thought I was supposed to go that way for another mission and I get there and I'm here at the early game and in air quotes and so I feel like, oh, I should be able to go do this. And then I get there and, you know, I make some recipes. So I have some resistance, but I'm still just like, it doesn't matter. It's so cold up there. So that was part of it. I'm like, okay, well, I found this. I know this is obviously something I've got to do, but now I got to go back and find some cold resistant clothing and things like that to be able to make even think about surviving up here.
And that's exactly what you're supposed to do. You just got to keep doing that, bro.
But I just keep, that's the thing. I just keep running into these things like, I feel like I can't complete missions because every mission I try to go do,
missions.
I'm like,
there are no missions.
Okay, sorry,
I'm just like, kidding. There are
stories, errands, whatever. It's
errands. Actually, errands is probably the most correct word.
I mean, I'm trying to collect crickets for a dude.
Exactly.
That seems like an errand.
Yes, it is.
So, you know, I go to that and I feel like I just keep running into this. Oh, well, you got to do this before you can do this. So it's like finding the starting point thread that finally allows me to be like, oh, I've got it now. I'm still searching for it.
Well, that's the whole point of Breath of the Wild. I'm still searching. But
still haven't found what I'm looking for.
Still haven't found what you're looking for. But the dragons of Breath of the Wild are one of my favorite character designs, potentially throughout the entire Legend of Zelda series.
Right.
In terms of creatures and things that you can kind of interact with, but not really, they are pretty high up there. Like they're in fierce competition with Jabu Jabu from Wind Waker because he's like a big portly like anglerfish.
Yeah.
He's so cute. And probably like every iteration of the Koroks because they are freaking adorable.
I do like those when
but
they pop
the
up.
dragons.
Like, you found me. Here's my
yeah, and it's like, get out of here.
I just want your materials.
Give me your money. Exactly. It's like beating up a kid for their lunch money.
Nice. So this wasn't actually this, and see, here's where we go. Already snowballing on this because you talking about these dragons reminded me, and talking about their monstrous size and how big they are reminded me of another serpent character from a video game that came out recently also, and it's the world serpent from God of War.
I thought you were going to bring up God of War at some point because I was like, that game is chock full of fantastic creatures.
I mean, so are the old ones too. Like the old God of Wars when you're in ancient Greece and everything, great stuff. Like all the designs of the Titans especially. There's a whole level, and I believe it's God of War 3. Yeah, it is. It's the very beginning of God of War 3. You are on the back of the Titan Gaia as she is climbing Mount Olympus to fight the gods.
Good for her.
And so
you punch those gods in the face, Gaia.
But it's like, so it's basically you're riding on the back of what could basically be a mountain anyway, as she's climbing this mountain, fighting beasts. Those are really well done in that game, as well as the representations of all the different gods and everything. Like Ares at the end of God of War 1, when he like transforms and has like his spider legs and everything. Oh my God, so cool. But no, the world serpent is a very interesting thing because it acts as slight as the mechanism that unlocks the areas for you to explore.
Oh,
in God of War.
It's
so
your
I don't want to get
portal.
This isn't very spoilery. I don't want to go into it, but basically the world of God of War and what you actually have to explore isn't that big as far as other open world games. And honestly, it's not like the typical open world game. Like the really true open world part of it is the Lake of the Nine, which is like the central hub. And it's this big lake that you just sail around, you and Atreus, and
Trevor, gotcha.
Trevor. No, you changed it. It used to be Travis.
Oh, was it Travis?
Travis before.
Oh, dang it. Well, he's Trevor now.
And so you just go around in all this area. But the thing is, the Lake of the Nine is encircled by the World Serpent, which is this massive, massive snake. And it can speak to you in this old tongue and everything like that. And as it goes
Parcel
on.
tongue. That's from Harry Potter.
And so as you go on with this and the game goes on, like I said, the area isn't that big as opposed to other bigger games. But as the game progresses and you progress through the story, the World Serpent will move and shift, which lowers the level of the Lake of the Nine and allows you to go on to other areas to explore within the Lake of the Nine that were previously blocked off to you. And so I think that's a very interesting mechanic. the design of the world Serpent is really cool too. He's got just massive. You can see him whichever direction you turn. You see his body just resting on these mountains, and you just get this you just get this sense of how incredibly huge it is. And so and then I just love, and that's really it that I had about it. It's just, again, this really huge serpent, but I love how they connected the size of the serpent to be the gatekeeper to exploring new things. And I thought that was a really interesting mechanic, other than just being like a invisible wall where it's like, oh, you can't go here.
He is an ugly mofo.
Yeah, it really is.
He is not pretty.
No, it's got like algae or something hanging off him, makes it look like he's got a beard going on.
Well, from his profile, he's more
profile
handsome,
is better,
but straight
really cool
on.
Looking. But like also like very obviously Norse influenced in his design, especially when you do see it from the side. It does look like Norse runic drawings of serpents and things like that. It's a really cool interpretation. Yeah. That game's great because, again, it gave this whole new area and whole new world in the God of War series that we hadn't seen. And honestly too, like I feel like the Norse world is not one that's been explored greatly in video games. There aren't a ton, and so it's cool to see a new, fresh take on it. Well, I say that, but then as soon as God of War came out, I feel like I started seeing them everywhere, like Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice. Yeah. Another great game. Can we talk about like Valravn?
Oh yeah, his design is so cool.
Good.
I mean, I know it's super early game, but Valravn was honestly like a highlight of that game.
It was one of the best
me.
parts of the game.
Because he's like this creepy, almost scarecrowish bird
like
creature.
Raven man thing.
Yeah, like he has a really large raven head, and just the fact that you only kind of see him in glimpses from afar at first, that really adds to the feel of his character as being this kind of just out of reach, insidious element.
Right.
Because he's bad news. Like, there's no way he's going to roll up to you once you get to the end and be like, yo, you beat all my trials. Good job. Here's a stamp for your passport. Go on your way.
When you actually do fight him, he's still very mysterious and flighty. Yeah. He like disappears from view, and he uses those two sickles.
Yeah, to like, he's brutal.
And his spin dash attack.
Yeah, like when he like drills at you.
Through the air.
Oh, it's crazy.
Really
he's
crazy.
A really cool character from that game. Probably one of my favorites, really.
Yeah. But another one that I want to touch on from God of War, a character you never actually see, but another of how they chose to design this character.
The specter of Kratos' guilt.
No, it's the no, not quite, but that's close. It is the mother.
Oh, okay.
Kratos' wife and Atreus' mom.
Travis.
I think I just inhaled that gnat. Oh, God. It came back.
You ate him. If it makes you feel any better, I think I ate at least 2 gnats when I was roller skating the other day. Yeah, just swallow them down. It's
right,
extra protein. Now. Extra protein. Gross.
Because and Faye is the character's name. But you only see the only physical time you see Faye is when Kratos is carrying her body wrapped in burial cloth onto a pyre to be burned. And after that, though, you just know she's this guiding character throughout the game. Obviously, the impetus for your quest in the game. Again, this game's new. I don't want to, although we are getting on, it's close to its 1-year anniversary. I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't been able to get into it. But still, how they continue with the mother is obviously referring to her in story, and Kratos talking about her, Atreus talking about her. But the main thing, how she's represented in the game, one of the main ways, I should say, how she's represented in the game is through music.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So,
I gotcha.
Really what I would say to people to go look up and listen to are the tracks specifically like Ashes or Memories of Mother. Those are both excellent ones because there's this one particular motive. I'm not even going to try to do it because it's sang by Eivor. I believe I'm saying her name correctly. This Scandinavian singer who is incredible. I've listened to some of her stuff that's not part of the soundtrack world, just her musical albums. She is so good. So you should check her out. But just how you can feel the emotion in her voice as she's singing these incredibly, it's like you listen to it, gives you the goosebumps. But I just really love how that's how Corey Barlog decided to be, because it could have been like apparitions or visions that Kratos had, like she just kind of appeared to him. It's God of War, it's mythology, like that happens in the older games. Athena appears to Kratos all the time, and so different things like that. That's how they could have done that with with Faye, but instead, Cory Barlog and everything made the decision to represent her mostly through music, and I think that was really well
That's
done.
a really cool idea.
So it was an interesting play, I would say.
Right on.
But yeah, the new God of War especially is fraught with excellent examples of some good character design. All the main characters are excellent. Yeah, I could go more to that one, but I don't want to.
I feel like the word fraught implies that like it's a bad amount of things. What about like bursting at the seams?
There we go. That's better. Better word.
Yours was more artistic, but I was like, fraught. That makes it sound bad.
A plethora.
A plethora, indeed.
Of excellent character design examples.
Cornucopia.
Excellent choice.
Anyways, so we've been getting a lot of kind of more thoughtful character designs between the two of us. I do kind of briefly want to shift gears to one that is, hey, I like these character designs for no other reason than how they look.
So that's my next one too.
Yeah, so we can kind of switch gears here. So this is kind of it's a game series that I have not personally played in many, many years. I think originally it came out for the GameCube, I want to say.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, I think the series might be older in Japan, ? But I obviously have no exposure to it before it came to the West. It's the Puyo series. So I didn't play the one on GameCube, which I think was Puyo Pop Fever. But eventually they either made a sequel or ported Puyo Pop Fever to the DS, which first of all, what a perfect game for the DS, because the way that it works, if anybody doesn't know what Puyo Pop is, it is basically like Tetris, but not really. So you've got these little things called Puyos, and they're basically little jelly monsters. I want you to see them. They're so cute. They're not even really monsters. They're just critters, but they are absolutely adorable. And even kind of on their own, you feel like they have a little bit of personality because they're not all the same. Look at those little Puyos. So these are what...
Also, I'm going to need you to send me all these pictures so I can...
These are what Puyos look like.
Oh,
they're just
okay,
these
I've
little
seen that.
jelly monsters. They're like blobs, basically. And there's a purple one, a yellow one, a red one, and a blue. Oh, yellow, purple, red, blue, green. There's 5 of them. And even though they're just little jelly blobs, like the slant of their eyes is where all of their character comes from. Like the yellow one kind of has this really happy expression on its face. Its whole body is its face. The purple one looks really pissed off. He's like, man, I hate doing this. The red one looks angry, of course.
Yeah.
The green one is just like, I'm just happy to participate.
love
And the
being
blue
here.
one is like, oh man, guys, I think this is a good idea. And it's like they're so similar, but they're on their own, they're so unique. So even the Puyos themselves are absolutely adorable. But where the game really shines in terms of characterization is the actual characters. So here's kind of the catalog. So this is Amity. She's one of the OGs from Puyo Pop Fever. This is actually her redesign from Puyo Puyo Tetris.
Okay.
Another fantastic game. And this is just sort of to give you a little bit of an idea. First of all, this website is really well designed. This is Arlie.
Okay.
She's super adorable too. Basically... like, you know, so you probably know what anime characters look like.
Yes.
These characters look like that to a certain extent, but they are a more cartoon version than just anime characters, because anime often looks at least a little bit more realistic. These characters have a bit, you can scroll down to like go through
See
the
more?
entire, yeah, just click on the
Wow,
different.
there's so many.
Right, what a well-designed website for starters. They're super like childishly designed because it's a really adorable, bright, colorful, fun, poppy game. It's called Puyo Pop for a reason.
Right.
So these characters have a lot of pop and a lot of zazzle to them.
Very
they are
very
extremely colorful, and they are made more bold, I think, in the saturation of their color level and the fact that they have those super defined black outlines. I feel like that bold outline always gives characters such an extra oomph when you're looking at them. And especially in a game like Puyo Pop, you don't see the characters most of the time. Like they're usually just a little mini icon in the top corner of the page as you're doing your Puyo Pop battles. But every now and then when you do like a super move or when you win and the victory or defeat screen comes up, they have all of these different, poses and lines and voice lines that they say that just add to their characterization as these just freaking adorable characters. And that's honestly part of the draw of Puyo Pop to me. People are like, oh, well, there's Tetris 99 now. And I'm like, but is it cute? Is it cute? Because if it's not, then I'll stick to Puyo Puyo Tetris, thank you. So the character design of Puyo, the Puyo series in general, has just gotten so clean and so well defined. And there's really not any character that I can say I don't like. I adore them all. Except for maybe that bear. I don't like the bear.
Don't like the bear. Not a fan of the bear.
He's pretty ugly.
So this not the one that I was going to originally talk about, but for a very similar reason of what you were talking about with these characters, and especially with the hard black lines and everything like that. Another game that springs to mind because of that is the Borderlands series, which looks very detailed graphic novel.
Yeah.
The Borderlands characters, especially, and I remembered one of the bigger bosses from the original Borderlands, Sledge, that I really liked fighting. He gives you this really cool shotgun after you defeat him.
Who doesn't want a really cool shotgun?
He kind of looks like an armored minotaur, basically.
Oh gosh.
But just in that game, and how they define like 6 packs of characters, like on the psychos and everything like that.
I like the jagged teeth that are drawn onto his face.
Yeah.
Not his face, his like helmet.
Right. Yeah, that one's a really good one. That one's really good. And then is her name Tiny Tina, I believe?
Oh, that's such a cute name.
She's a really...
Is she tiny or is it a misnomer? Is she actually the size of the Hulk?
Oops, that's not it.
Yep. Don't worry, I'll stall.
Oh, that's not
you.
who I'm thinking of, but there is a character named Tiny Tina. But again, just the character design of these games especially is very vast because everybody's... It's been a while since I played a Borderlands game, but like they're just... It's this very... They're not like... I guess you could call them mutants. Mutant-esque, because it does take place in space, like aliens, but they're humans. Like Tiny Tina's a more of a human, but just like a smaller girl character.
I like her off-brand Hello Kitty apron.
Yeah, see? But then, no, that's not who I'm thinking of. I think she's in Borderlands 2. Anyway, but still, it's just I think Claptrap is a great character from Borderlands. He's this little robot. He runs around. He rolls around on just a wheel. But he's very... They even has a voice line that he's just, because he talks really chipper and upbeat, even when things are really bad. But he's just like, one of his voice lines, and I may be not getting it exactly correct, but he's just like, don't let my chipper sound distract you. I'm actually terrified and dying inside, and just things like that. And so he's a really fun character. Borderlands has a great cast of characters for a lot of different reasons. But the main one that I did want to talk about, due to just look alone.
I think I know who you're going to say.
Okay, guess. You had me guess for Zelda.
Is it Handsome Jack?
No.
Dang.
Oh, no. I'm moving away from Borderlands.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought we were still talking about Borderlands.
No, sorry. I'm moving away.
So go ahead with your guesses then. I will guess accordingly.
Okay. So it's another... I haven't talked about this series in a while. I've only played 2 of the games, but the 2 most recent versions, installations.
Most recent versions.
It's been a couple years, though. I think the most recent one came out in 2016.
2016.
He never asked for this.
Metal Gear Solid?
No.
Oh, dang it. I thought for
Good
sure.
guess, though.
I thought for sure I had it that time. He never asked for this. The Last of Us?
No.
Yeah, it's older than that. Give me another hint.
Okay, well, this is one of the reasons that I like him, so I'll give this one to you. He wears all black.
He wears all black?
I never asked for this.
Count Chocula. Batman?
No. Oh, that did sound very Batman.
That did sound very Batman-y. Gosh, wears all black. Never asked for this.
Set in the future.
I have no idea.
Adam Jensen from Deus Ex Human Revolution and Deus Ex
Mankind. I never would have guessed that. Like I
said, I haven't talked about it in a very long time.
He's the main character, right?
Main character.
He does look cool.
He is so cool.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. He's got like the cool facial hair and like the cool
pointy,
sideburns.
the pointy beard.
Sideburns.
Sideburns.
He's got these 2 barns on his face.
He's got the built-in retractable sunglasses.
Oh, they're pretty
into
cool.
his face.
Yeah.
He's got the huge trench coat. And I love it. That look, he's just like when he's out investigating and you're walking around, that is the look of Adam Jensen that I like. When you get into combat missions and everything, he takes the trench coat off and he's just in his suit, which is really though because of the events in Human Revolution, he's 3/4 machine at this point.
Right.
So you see his really cool chest armor that he has. His arms are obviously completely robotic and augmented out. But that is what's so cool about Adam Jensen. And the main thing about, and one of the main appeals for me with the Deus Ex Human Revolution and Mankind Divided games is that how much the character design of having these augmentations plays into the game, and that's where you get your customizations, your unlocks, your skill trees are all applied into this. So it's a very core mechanic of the game.
Right.
But as you go, he has these blades that can like sling out of his arms from they come out of his forearms, but go like to his elbows and stuff like that. But he can like use them like stab, or like they even come out the front too. So
I call those crowd elbows.
It's pretty cool.
Because anytime you're trying to make your way through a crowd,
throwing bows. That's what I tell Sam. I'm throwing bows, trying to make my way. But his whole aesthetic is just sleek. It's stealthy, and it's really cool.
His character design, and really kind of the look of him in particular, but the look of Deus Ex has always really strongly reminded me of the Ghost in the Shell series.
I can see that.
He would fit right in.
He would.
Like if you took his Deus Ex design and just plopped him right into the styling of Ghost in the Shell, he would fit right in.
Because, honestly, Adam Jensen as a whole, he does have some anime qualities to his design, especially like the more pointed facial hair and the
he's very
chin,
angular.
Yes. And so I really love that about it. Plus, he's got that deep, gravelly voice that I tried to imitate, but came out sounding more like Batman. And so,
nice. What's his name? Christopher Nolan?
Yeah, the Christopher Nolan
Christian
Batmans.
Bale. Yes.
From the Christopher
nice
Nolan
Christian
Batman.
Bale.
Yeah. Swear to me.
It's like, bro, chill out.
He's got so much angst. But anyway, the Adam Jensen character is an incredibly well done one, because he does have that. He just has this gravitas about him, because I think of how his costume makes him both stand out, and be just this very, like, you see him and you're like, I don't want to fuck with that guy.
He shops at Hot Topic.
Yes, he has a membership.
He's
part of their discount club. He's going there. He's snatching up the exclusive Funkos that you can buy there. He's just going to town. But anyway, he still, though, puts us this really cool, awesome vibe. It's awesome, especially with how the game goes, and you can have these skill trees, because in this one, you can get these points to unlock things, but you can't unlock everything. So you have to choose specific paths with how you want to go and how you want him to be able to perform with all of his different augmentations. And so, multiple playthroughs mean you could have different versions of Adam Jensen.
Of course.
And so that allows for some really cool ways, and you get to see all of his powers, and especially as you rank up and start getting some really sick and nasty skills, it gets awesome. And I really love him. But so, though, I want to draw a parallel, because one of his coolest points, I did just say, is his trench coat. And I'm going to jump now into a character who I think does have for what his character is and who he's supposed to be, has some very poor character design.
Poor character design.
You're not going to get this one.
Okay, never mind. Go
I
ahead.
maybe have talked about this one one time.
Cool.
And in passing.
Oh, wait, Mr. X from the newest Resident Evil game?
No, but he does have a good trench coat. He does have a trench
coat.
But no, this character is Aiden Pearce from Watch Dogs.
Oh, I have no idea who that is.
So,
yeah.
This one takes place. Aiden Pearce is this secretive hacker who can basically he's part of this DedSec is what it's called, is this organization that's just comprised of hackers.
He sounds like a real tryhard. I'm going to go on ahead and say.
I liked Watch Dogs a lot, but
What's his
this
name?
Aiden Pearce.
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 I gotcha. Okay.
And so on the design, when you see him, and when you pull this up and viewers watching, when you see him, you're like, okay, cool. Wearing the baseball hat. He's got the big trench coat, which is really cool color because it's like leathery, but then also has like the yellow interior on the inside.
I do like the yellow
really
interior.
Cool. It looks really cool. But then here's the thing about him. And if I remember correctly, you can unlock other outfits and things for him to wear in the game. But that's his base one, and that's what I'm going off of. He's supposed to be this like hidden in the shadows, unseen figure of a hacker. Does everything, remotely on his phone. That's one of the really cool things about this game, is like how you can be in a car chase and driving away, like either running from police or other bad guys, and you can hack a traffic light and make it go to red.
Oh,
so the
that's
other one
fun.
goes green, and you can like create all these obstacles or raise like road barriers as you're
like
driving
that.
by them. It's really cool
pretty
mechanic.
cool.
But you're doing all this stuff, and you're supposed to be hiding. You're trying to hide from the law. You're trying to hide from this organization that's trying to hunt you down. Yet your character is in a very obvious, massive trench coat. I feel like that sticks out.
For context, what do the other people in this game dress like?
Just normal people.
So they don't dress like him.
No.
Okay, because I was thinking that maybe he was hiding in plain sight, air
Yeah,
quotes,
no.
like being like, oh, I'm just a normal dude at the mall.
Most of the people you're walking around are wearing jeans, hoodies,
Okay,
baseball
gotcha.
caps,
I
all this different stuff. And he's running around
Nothing
in
says
this big...
criminal like a face mask that covers your mouth
That covers
and
your mouth.
nose.
I mean, he doesn't wear that all the time.
Oh,
He's only
okay.
doing that when he is doing
Well,
wearing that when
still.
he is doing missions. But still, no. That's my point though. When he is like walking, like you can just like leave a mission area basically. You just like escape from people. Police are still like kind of looking for you, and you're just walking around, and nobody's like, maybe this dude with the trench coat. You know
Look
what
at
I
this
mean?
suspicious character over here. Gotcha.
Exactly. So it kind of stuck out as like in an interesting parallel because I love the trench coat aspect and look of Adam Jensen. But on Aiden Pearce, I'm like, this doesn't fit.
He's not dressed for the job.
Exactly.
You could say.
Like, I mean, he
gotcha.
is in the fact that I guess it gives him this secretive air where he can like hide behind his baseball cap and pop his collar on his trench coat and hide in the shadows. But still,
What a loser.
like he should. Yeah, they could have found something else better to do it, and they did fix that, I believe, in Watch Dogs 2. They have a different main character in Watch Dogs 2. Marcus, I believe, is his name, but he's dressed just like normal. So like, I feel like I don't know if they actually received backlash being like, this doesn't make sense, or it's just a different design choice that they went so that the characters wouldn't too closely parallel each other.
Right on.
But still, so that was one that kind of stuck out of my head as a bad character design, I would say.
I gotcha.
But again, overall, I liked the game. Just
Overall.
that kind of stuck out to me. So that pretty much wraps up our discussion on character design. Obviously, we would love to know some of your favorite examples of character design from games you've played or just games you've seen. So let us know what those are by sending us an email at teamchatpodcast@gmail.com, commenting below the video and such, or contacting us through social media. We'd love to hear from you. Also, or you could do it on our Discord by joining that. Link is in the description below. But before we go, we do have to do our soundtrack spotlight, which Mogan has prepared for us this week.
So,
hit me with that tune.
Of course, it's got to be one from Puyo Tetris, a super fun and poppy game, and you're going to get hit in the face, slapped in the face with
a
this super
delightful-
fun and poppy and delightful song.
I'm excited.
So, the song is Welcome to Puyo Tetris, naturally, and it is by composer Hideki Abe.
Fun. We listened to this before. It was a great, catchy tune. It's very peppy.
Very peppy.
I love it.
Brace
It's
yourself.
Very, very lighthearted.
If
fills
you
with joy.
want to have a bad mood today, don't listen to this, because it will pep you up.
Immediately pep you up.
Immediately.
Brings smile to your face. Sunshine all around.
Like the yellow Puyo.
There we go. Boom. So what is it? Welcome to Puyo Town?
Welcome to Puyo Tetris.
Puyo Tetris.
Welcome to Puyo Tetris, 2 exclamation points.
Boom.
Boom.
There it is. So listen to that after the close of the episode, which is pretty much now. Until next time, everyone, I'm one of your hosts, Jerrett Wilson, joined by Rachel Mogan.
Adios.
We'll see you all next week for another great gaming topic, so come back and see us, why don't you? Until next time, stick around for the song.